Not long ago, I made a video about the low-cost Quansheng UV-TK1 radio, which was the first Quansheng I have ever owned. And I was so impressed by that radio that I decided to see if one of the higher quality Quansheng radios was as impressive and worth all the extra monies. So using my own monies that I collected from my supporting channel members, those are the above average IQ viewers that supported my channel by clicking on the join or thanks buttons below. Using those monies, I procured the new Quansheng UV TK118, so I could share an overview of this radio and let you know if it's any good or not. And I am doing this for you not because it's easy, but because I thought it was going to be easy. The price for the new Quansheng UV TK118 is, as of today, $70 of monies. Affiliate link below. So when you purchase the new Quansheng UV TK118 handheld HT walkie-talkie radio, in the box, you will receive a user manual written in reasonably good Chinglish and presented in a font that is actually large enough for the average human being to read without a microscope. 25 pages long, and it goes over all of the features and options of the radio, but it does not explain a single one of them. So to make use of a lot of the options of this radio, you have to know what you're doing. You will receive a belt clip used for affixing the radio to your belt, thusly making it easier to impress the chicks. You will receive this very handsome Quansheng branded quick release wrist strap, which, while both stylish and functional, my recent experience with this type of strap-on tells me that these things can be very fragile. You will receive a battery charging cradle and associated charging brick. You will receive 2 antennas. This one appears to be top-loaded, and as any certified hams radios operator will tell you, a top antenna is more gooder than a bottom. This one is tuned for the 6-meter band, the 2-meter band, and the 70 centimeter bands, and you will receive this second antenna, which is for receiving the lower frequencies that most radios can't come close to receiving. You will receive a battery that holds 3,000 milliamp hours, and you will receive the Quansheng UV TK118 handheld HT walkie-talkie radio. The radio feels very premium. It is very tight with a good heft to it, and it definitely feels better than most of those lesser cheap Chinese radios. Quansheng says it will survive a 32.2 feet per second squared acceleration directly into an inelastic collision with any substrate with an initial linear spatial separation magnitude of up to 10 meters. It has an operating temperature of from 4 degrees below zero all the way up to 140 degrees of Fahrenheit, so you can drop it on the cement or let your unattended baby play with it in a hot car on a summer day, but because it only has an IP54 rating, you should not play with it in the bathtub. On the top of the radio, you will find an on-off and volume control knob, a hole behind this magic door for the previously mentioned low-frequency antenna, and a standard SMA hole for the higher frequency antenna, and a LED flashlight that is not particularly bright, as well as an LED transmit and receive indicator. On this side, you will find 2 rubberized PTT buttons. For you non-radio experts, I should point out that PTT means push, then talk. Please write that one down. As well as 2 rubberized programmable buttons. On the right side and behind this magic door, you will find a standard K1 type hole for connecting an external microphone or a variety of other accessories. On the rear, you will find electrical contacts for the charging cradle, and behind this magic door, you will find a USB-C's hole for charging, as well as an LED charging status indicator. And the 3,000 milliamp hour battery supports USB-C's fast charging for a faster and more pleasurable charging experience. On the front, you'll find a speaker and microphone hole and a 1.4-inch screen that does well in bright sunlight. And below the screen, you will find the usual assortment of rubberized control buttons that one would expect to find on this type of radio. As you can see, the screen holds many informations, so the radio dorks will love it. And at this point in the video, I do feel compelled to inform you that this is not a GMRS radio, and this is not a hams radios. This is an LMR or business type radio known to us radio experts as an FCC's Part 90 type radio. No license is required to purchase, own, or possess this radio, but according to the FCC's, if you intend to press this button or this button, the FCC's has proclaimed that thou must first purchaseth an FCC's Part 90 LMR business radio license, which I do have, and no, I will not give you the call sign because it's none of your fucking business. Anyway, a Part 90 business LMR type license is not a hams radios license. It is, in fact, the next level up and far better than one of those cute little amateur radios licenses that all the people that can't afford to get business LMR type licenses often get instead. So what I'm saying to you right now is those silly little hams radios licenses are useless for one of these radios. Anyway, this radio definitely is a radio dork radio, and it is not intended for beginners or those that struggle with reading user manuals or learning new things. So this radio is perfect for full-on, train-obsessed, Rain Man level radio dorks. This thing was actually almost too complicated for me, which is not saying much, but I have used a lot of radios in my 40-plus years of being a radio expert, and this one definitely pushes the envelope of my confucularity. I could give examples, but I'm not going to. The voice on this radio sounds about as soothing as an old lady that grew up in the Bronx, but she still sounds kind of hot.
Welcome, frequency mode.
The radio has 999 memory slots for storing custom channels. The firmware is updatable, and the Radio Dork Guild is currently working behind the scenes on jailbreaking the firmware, but I am not sure of their progress to date. However, I am sure that a member of the Radio Dork Guild will leave a comment on this video and bring us all up to date with their progress. The radio has an adjustable microphone gain, which most lesser cheap Chinese radios lack. And Quansheng says that this radio has, and I quote, enterprise-level security and encrypted communication, and it supports 10 groups of digital scramblers. But I am not confident about just how encrypted the digital scrambler is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come right out and declare that it is not digitally encrypted at all. But because I am not a digital encryption expert myself, I will let everyone leave comments and decide whether it's digital and encrypted or not. To help you make that decision, watch to see how it sounds. This is me testing the scramble feature. This is how it sounds unscrambled, and this is how it sounds. To my very highly untrained ear, it sounds like basic old-fashioned analog frequency inversion scrambling, which will do the job and make it difficult for anyone listening to understand what you're saying, but it is not digital and it is not encryption. So if you are on the run from the CIA, or if you are planning a unscheduled tour of the Capitol building, then this radio would probably not be a good choice. This radio can receive a lot of stuff. Basically, it can receive everything from 1 or 2 MHz all the way up to about 760 MHz. So that includes AM airband, United States CB radio channels, 3 hams radios bands, GMRS, business and LMR frequencies, commercial FM radio, NOAA weather channels, and it supports the NOAA SAME protocol, which allows you to enter the area that you're in and what type of events you want to be alerted to so that you only get alerts that you care about or that apply to you. And it also allows you to set a separate squelch level for the NOAA channels. No other cheap Chinese radio that I have ever tested can do both of those things, and I'm going to guess that not many expensive Japanese radios can do those things either. The radio can receive AM mode, FM narrowband, FM wideband, lower sideband, and upper sideband, and a little-known mode known by us higher IQ radio experts as antediluvian manual metacarpal percussive collaboration mode, or CW mode for short. The radio cannot transmit on all of the frequencies that it can receive, but it is unlocked, so it can transmit in the 25 to 29 MHz range, 54 to 60 MHz, 136 to 174 MHz, and 350 to 490 MHz. This is not a super heterodyne type radio, which is why it's so relatively inexpensive. Instead, this is an SOC type radio, also known as a homodyne type radio. Not that there's anything wrong with that. However, unlike most of those other cheap Chinese homodyne radios, when this radio is in dual channel mode, meaning that when it's listening to two channels at the same time, the radio does not just simply switch quickly between the two frequencies and let you listen to the first one that picks up a signal. Nay, this radio actually receives both frequencies at the same time. So if people are transmitting on both of the two frequencies at the exact same moment, you can listen to both of them at the same time on their two separate frequencies. Just yet another feature of this radio that eludes most other cheap Chinese radios. This radio does do scanning. It can scan through all of your custom channels or through a range of frequencies that you set.
Scanning begin.
It lets you set scan priority channels, and you can create different scan lists and frequency ranges to scan and give those lists or ranges custom names. And as you can see, it scans much faster than many lesser cheap Chinese radios. As mentioned only moments ago, the radio can listen to two channels at the same time, as indicated by the small DR at the top of the screen. And as you can see with your very own ocular input balls, the radio displays signal strength meters for both the top channel and the bottom channel, as indicated by the A and B numbers. And you can adjust the volume of each of the two frequencies independently. You can set your desired modulation mode for each of the two receiving channels independently, and you can choose between AM, lower or upper sideband, FM, and CW. And you can very quickly and easily cycle through the available bands when in VFO mode by just tapping the aptly named band button. Another feature that is sure to make the radio dorks moisten the back of their panties is the built-in speculum analyzer. To use it, just enter the desired center frequency and hit the speculum button. And whilst staring blankly at the speculum as it analyzes, you can change the bandwidth of the speculum view to a wider or more narrow view. The radio has a built-in frequency scanner to detect what frequency and any tones that are being used on a nearby transmitter, nearby being around 20 or 30 yards or so. So the radio will tell you what frequency the nearby transmitter is transmitting on, as well as any tones in use, and it will then let you save it as a channel should you choose to do so. The box says that this radio can work as a cross-band repeater, meaning that you can transmit to it on one frequency and it will retransmit on another frequency of a different band. And I think this is what Quansheng refers to as the intercom feature. But sadly, I have not yet been able to figure out how to activate it or how to use it, so I can't vouch for this particular feature. If anyone knows how to enable the cross-band repeater mode on this radio, now is your chance to make yourself look smart in front of everyone and simultaneously make me look stupid. So please leave a comment and enlighten us all with your wisdom. The radio can also wirelessly copy all of the programming to another UV-TK118 and other Quansheng models, but I can't find a list of what all those other models are that it works with. But perhaps the most groundbreaking and most powerful feature of this radio is what Quansheng calls the magic voice. Magic Voice will transform your lame and pathetic sounding voice into something wonderful. that real radio experts will actually want to listen to. The radio has 8 different magic voice settings, so I won't waste your time demonstrating all of them, but I will demonstrate a couple of them for your listening pleasure.
This is my normal, smooth-sounding voice. 1, 2, 3.
This is magic voice setting number 1. 1, 2, 3.
This is magic voice setting number 5. 1, 2, 3.
And most important to any serious radio operator with a big antenna, this radio does have a Roger beep, and it sounds like this. But wait, there's more. It also has a faux MDC, and that sounds like this. But wait, there's even more. This radio allows you to create 3 of your own custom Roger beeps that you can upload into the radio. The default custom Roger beep sounds like this.
Over.
So you can add 2 additional custom Roger beeps that you record yourself, or you can overwrite the default custom one also for a total of 3 custom Roger beeps sounds or phrases. To upload your custom Roger beeps, you will need to use the free programming software that you can download from the Quansheng website. However, before you can use the software, you will need a standard radio programming cable with a K1 type connector on it. This is the same cable that you would use for something like a Quansheng UV and most other cheap Chinese radios. This is the cable that I have been using for the last 6 or 7 years, and it has never let me down. It costs about 24 monies. And for your cable purchasing pleasure, I will put an affiliate link to this cable in the information section of the video below. Anyway, you install the software, making sure that you agree to their strict licensing agreement, and once installed, you can add custom channels to the radio, make changes, upload a custom start screen image, and most important, you can upload your own custom Roger beeps. I should also point out that as of today, this radio is not on the chirp compatibility list, but my guess is that it will be in the not too distant future. The box says that this radio will transmit at up to 10 watts. So let's test that. And as you can see with your very own ocular sauce pustules, the radio outputs just over 7 watts on 146.500 MHz. It outputs just over 8 watts on 446 MHz. And on good old GMRS, it outputs just under 7.5 watts. Unfortunately, my Farsometer 2000 will not allow me to test the lower bands. To test those lower frequencies, I will need to upgrade to the new and improved Farsometer 2000 2.0, but I can't do that because I spent all of my monies on this radio. But what everyone wants to know is, how many FARs does it talks? Unfortunately, my assistant, Conrad, the chef, had to skip town on short notice after what witnesses described as a heated argument with a now former coworker. So I can't perform my usual FARS test. But using this radio and this antenna, I am able to hit all of my favorite repeaters, including the one on Santiago Mountain that is 35 miles away and the one on Mount Palomar, 69 miles away. So if you are looking for a good quality unlocked 10-watt handheld HT walkie-talkie radio that can receive way more frequencies than virtually all other radios in this price range, then the new Quansheng UV TK118 might just be the radio for you.
Over.